All right, back here with another video. Maybe I'll call this "Why I've Left the iPhone" Part 2. And the last one I made was over 30 minutes long, so this one definitely is not going to be that long because this one really is just focused on one thing that's been around for I think maybe two versions of iOS now, maybe three, but it's the app library. Okay, what is this? I try to come to grips with what this actually is. Okay, so on Android or on any other modern PC, even Macs, yeah, you have the it's not Spotlight, but the other thing where all the apps are stored, all the programs are stored. I just want an alphabetical list of my applications. All right, I don't need Apple to curate random groups that they feel these things should be placed. Like, all right, I see suggestions. Well, I don't need you suggesting anything. Recently added. Thanks. Other. Like that. What does that mean? Like, can I even change it? Yeah. I cannot change. Yeah. I can't change the like other like that's not helpful. Social, entertainment, productivity, and finance, utilities, photos. Like some of them make sense, but at the end of the day, I just want an alphabetized list of my applications, which I know it's there. Okay, yeah, it's definitely there, but just give me that then. Like this whole aspect of the app library just absolutely infuriates me and has done so since they came out with it and they spoke about it like it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And that is another reason why, yeah, I'm like, all right, I've had enough of the shenanigans of this company. Now, all these massive companies do, whatever they do, and none of them I really think are that great. But as a device or as the manufacturers of a device that I have to use on a daily basis, I want to enjoy my overall experience more. So just to recap, in my last video, I talked about how FaceTime's kind of opened up, but it's still just, you need other iOS devices, but I know you can send links out to other people. I talked about the Lightning port, which maybe we'll see in 2023 with the iPhone 15, USB-C on the iPhone, and all the other devices that currently have Lightning ports. And then I closed talking about iMessage, which iMessage is probably never going to open up. And who knows if Apple is going to adopt RCS, which would be the successor to SMS. But those were like the heavy hitting things. But this is just, it's a pet peeve of I don't need you to tell me how to organize. Like I don't need you to organize my apps for me. So if you look at my home screen right now, you can see it is blank. All right. I'm okay with having things down here at the bottom. Yeah, which you can see. But in terms of me organizing stuff on this screen, I don't like that I have to just have just the apps. It's just, oh, well, they're all here. And before the app library, that's kind of what it was. It's just like you can group them in the folders and you can, kind of alphabetize them. But every time you download a new app, you'd have to, put it where it needs to go. Of course, everything has to start in the top left. And I know you can put widgets here and other stuff now, which Apple II was late to the game on that. But all I want is just to have, the apps that I use right here, the main apps that I open, which are these four. And then I want to be able to just come to an alphabetized list of the applications that are on the phone. This Apple curated grouping makes zero sense. And I don't know if the term app drawer is intellectual property of Google. I don't know. But I feel that Apple had to come up with something, and what they came up with was the app library. And even in a library, things are organized in a way that isn't essentially random, So fine, you want to call it a library? Well, alphabetize it, okay? But again, this I would say is an app library. This is just a grouping that Apple has chosen, and enough is enough, okay? Now, the other thing, which I honestly didn't plan on talking about, but in fact, let me pause the video and then I'll get a few things arranged over here. Then I'll come back. Now, the other thing that I've always, for the most part, despised about the iPhone is notification management. So yeah, somebody sends you a text or you get a notification from a particular app. it's just an atrocity. Like they're hidden off. They're over there. You have to swipe down from a certain part of the screen to see them. In fact, do I have any notifications right now? Let me get rid of that one. So yeah, I do have one notification right here in the notification center. But in order to see it, yeah, I had to swipe. What, does that work? Yeah, I had to swipe in the top left corner, and it might even work in the center. But yeah, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. And I know a lot of people will say, well, hey, you have these little badges or whatever, which, of course, yeah, that looks like that's specifically for the T-Mobile Tuesday app. That looks like that's for my email. But this too, I don't know exactly which app that's for because this folder has a bunch of different apps in it. I mean, there's clearly a folder within a folder there. So I don't know what's going on. And yeah, to actually see stuff, yeah, that's that stuff. But yeah, they're out of sight, out of mind. All right, and plenty of times, notifications just kind of sit there. Like you'll address whatever it is, like in the application itself, but then the notification will remain in that little notification center. And then sometimes I'll be like, man, this stuff happened like over a week ago. Why is it still sitting here? But that brings me to how notifications are then passed on to other devices. So right now, and I hope I don't shoot myself in the foot because I know what I saw, but I'm in my Fitbit app and on an Android. So this is my Sony Xperia 5 Mark III. And yes, of course, I can receive notifications for calls, text messages, calendar events. I disabled emails because I don't really use that. But then I have the option of, hey, here are a bunch of other apps that are installed on my phone. Do I want to receive notifications on my watch? Now, clearly, I don't have all of them checked because I really don't need to know everything about all these. In fact, I might even have notifications turned off for some of these locally on the phone. But I like that using the Fitbit app on an Android device, I'm sure it's a combination of Fitbit and Android being what Android is, allowing the developers of those applications to say, hey, it's kind of open, so allow what you can allow if that's what you want to do. And then boom, now I'm able to get all of these applications. I'm able to get the ability for all these applications to send me notifications on my wrist, which sometimes it's convenient because my phone might be somewhere else or it might even be in my pocket and the vibration just doesn't work as well. So I hope I don't bite myself in the foot. So I'm gonna pause the video and I gotta resync this watch with my iPhone to show you what happens when I look at app notifications in the Fitbit app on iOS. So I'm going to pause it and then we'll be back in a moment. All right. So this isn't a fair comparison. I'll be completely honest because I didn't take the time to download all of the apps that I have on this Sony and download them all to the iPhone. But I did download quite a few of them. And yeah, I mean, maybe there's some time required in order for the Fitbit app to see the apps on the phone. But I don't know. But just from what I'm seeing right now, the options to get notifications from various applications on the Fitbit when that Fitbit app is on the Android device compared to the options to get notifications from other apps when it's on the iPhone. It just seems like, yeah, this is just a way better option over here compared to these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 of which are Apple stuff. So I don't know what that's about. Again, there might be some user error involved. I don't know, but if it's an operating system limitation, then that's a huge problem. And part of me thinks that, well, what does Apple also make that would warrant there being some type of imposed limitations? They make their own smartwatch, okay? They make, can you even see that? Yeah, they make their own smartwatch. They make the Apple Watch, which, yes, at the end of the day is probably going to be your best smartwatch experience if you are using an iPhone. But when it comes to interoperability, and that's one of the key things that I try to harp on, is that we need to make it so that devices work with other devices. So yeah, the iPhone and the Apple Watch, they work great together. All right, they work hand in hand with each other. The iPhone with literally any other smartwatch, I mean, I'm sure it works, especially if there's an app for it, but I don't know if what I just showed you right there was a clear example of there being some differences between iOS and Android when it comes to a device that isn't inherently made by Google. I know Google now owns Fitbit, but I've had this for longer than Google has owned Fitbit, and I don't know what all things they've managed to merge together so far. But at the end of the day, I am more comfortable using this Fitbit with an Android device than I am with this iOS device, because I feel that it's more open and I'm able to do more with it. Could be wrong, could be user error, but the experience that I'm receiving right now as a consumer leads me to believe that, hey, this Fitbit works better with an Android device than an iOS device. So, with that being said, last thing that I'll say, I can go on and on forever, but there's one app on here that I actually do like, and it's the Pixel Buds app right there. Okay. I've been using my Google Pixel Buds, which, hey, they might work best with a Google Pixel. I mean, they are Google Pixel Buds, so you might get the absolute best experience with them. But at least there's a Pixel Buds app that I can download and put on this non-Pixel device. Let me check real fast, but I'm fairly confident that app does not exist in iOS. Let me check. I don't want to say, oh, it doesn't exist, and it does. But at the end of the day, because Apple makes AirPods, yeah, you got the Google Assistant I could download, Google Home, and a Google Podcast, and a bunch of other stuff that aren't Google Pixel Buds. So Google, Apple makes AirPods. They're going to want that experience to be the best experience possible. So therefore, yeah, if you have an iPhone, get AirPods. Okay, so, but that's going against everything that I would like. I want to be able to use products from different companies. So yes, this is a Sony phone, and just coincidentally, these are Sony headphones, but I've been using these Sony headphones with just about everything else. But Sony phone, Fitbit watch, before Google bought Fitbit, Google Pixel Buds, so Google Pixel Buds. I'm using a Lenovo charger to charge the phone. This is a spugged-in case or whatever. So yeah, the whole core concept of we're in 2022, we shouldn't rely strictly on one company to do it all. We don't need their stack to be what it is that we utilize when we're trying to enjoy whatever it is we're enjoying. So if you're in the iOS ecosystem, yeah, there's a good chance that you have the iPhone. All right, you got the iPhone. What do you get next? You get the AirPods, because those are the next, thing that you get, because you need to be able to, talk on the phone and listen to music. But then you're like, wait a minute. I want a companion device that allows me to receive notifications and make calls and use Apple Pay. So you get the Apple Watch. Then maybe you get an iPad. You just need a bigger iPhone. So you get an iPad. Then you get a Mac. I don't know if it goes that route for everybody, because the Mac itself can stand alone by itself. And in fact, I plan on continuing to use my Mac even without the iPhone. Interesting enough, because I bought the Mac to kind of be a companion device for the iPhone, mainly because of what? iMessage. But I'm actually enjoying using the Mac as a computer. So I think I will continue using that, even if this ends up getting sold. But all that to say, interoperability. We need things to work with each other, not things to only work with other things made by the same vendor. Okay? So I think that's it. I covered FaceTime, USB-C, iMessage, the app library, the Fitbit app, which I honestly didn't know I was going to talk about, but I did. And yeah, the Google Pixel Buds app, which, yeah, the application in my mind allows that users to get that same experience, hopefully, with non-Google Pixel devices, but still Android devices. And I get, yeah, at the end of the day, it's Google. But if I had other Bluetooth headphones, there's probably other apps, and I don't know, because the Pixel Buds are the ones that I used. But I feel that a lot of these hardware vendors know on Android there is some competition. So let's try to, and I'll say within Android, within what I'm trying to talk about here. But if you take almost any market and Apple is in that market, and that market somehow revolves around the iPhone, then sometimes there's no point of even making a competing app or piece of hardware that tries to go after those customers, because Apple is probably just going to do it better because they have that underlying access to the operating system, to the hardware that you as a competing third-party company might not have access to. So it has been video number 2, I believe, of why I am leaving the iPhone. iPhone 12 mini in 2022. Again, still an okay product, but for me, it's just not what I want to use anymore.